Hey everyone, what's up? This is a watch this video for, I gotta get this right, Wednesday, January 4th. I'm showing you the daily on the SPY. We're still hanging around. I talked about popping up and down above and below that 380 level, and we kind of did that again. We're still hanging out at that level. There's the intraday gap up, sold off, and really stayed pretty weak most of the day. I made another video about the trade I took today, which was ATNF. I don't want to go into the details here, but it was one of those famous suit G's, right? Straight out of the gate gap play through 4, which I gave the idea in the pre-market, so it wasn't like the market opened and I said, hey, I like this through 4. Everybody knew it before the market opened. I was taking this if it broke 4, even if it happened in the opening minute, which I think it did. And my best sell was 480. It went to 497 before rolling over, taking out the lows, and then ended up being a strong stock again. I played a couple pullbacks. I think that's the only stock I traded all day was ATNF. Did not have a losing trade in it. And a nice way to start the year. That 4 break worked really well. Anyway, what are we watching for tomorrow? You know what? I'm going to talk real quick about Apple. Kind of an ugly chart, right? You had this big sell-off, then a nasty push, and then a gap up, green day, another green day, and then whoosh, we're back down to new recent lows just like that on day 1 of the new year. And Tesla. So those are 2 big names. Tesla took out recent lows on an intraday basis today too. So those are 2 huge names that have pretty darn ugly daily charts. So that could be a window into the overall market, or it could just be China related. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Just keep those in mind, right? And speaking of Tesla, let me go back to that real quick. I do want to watch this one tomorrow in case we get what I call downside intraday shape to flush below 100. There might be a nice intraday reversal trade there if that happens and if it meets our parameters. So something to think about. That's the only reason that one's on the list. It's not a pretty daily, but you guys know, I like those. I like those intraday reversals. And intraday, by the way, in case you're watching my video for the first time, is the only thing I do. I'm in cash every night. So these are some charts that I may get a trade out of tomorrow on an intraday basis. And most of you know I love the small caps. COSM had this crazy day and then gapped down, and then it found support for about 3 or 4 days, and then today gapped up. Look at the intraday here. Had a really nice afternoon pop. So I'm going to keep this on watch. After this crazy action back here, I'm going to see if it gives any kind of setup tomorrow for a trade. ATNF, I already talked about my trade in it today. Holding up really well. Big volume today, so we're going to keep our eyes on that one. Did it top out at 6? Topped out at 598, so that 6 might come into play as well. We'll see. HTGM. Again, let's go to 15-minute candles. I talked about this one coming into today, and it did give a really nice, it topped out right around 4 here and gave a really nice high volume break of 4. Sadly, I didn't see it till it was like 420 something. I was in and out of the office, and when I say in and out, I wasn't doing anything else, but because I work from home, I may have very well just have been in there getting a sandwich or something, right? But by the time I saw it, it had already, I would have tried that through 4, by the way. Anyway, when we look at about the last 5 days, you kind of have a high, lower high, lower high, and then today broke this lower high briefly and flagged. So when you go back to the daily, there's nothing pretty about it, but it's holding up fairly well and can move at times. So it goes right back on watch. KALA had the big gap down today and closed, about where it opened. No trades in it today, but I'm going to keep watching that one. Already talked about Tesla. Any kind of shape into 100 might yield us a nice bounce play. JSPR. I said in the pre-market, this was on the gap play list, but I said if it moves, it's going to be a serial halter anyway and probably untradeable. And look at all these intraday gaps. Every one of those was a freaking halt, which makes it pretty much untradeable. I never did trade it, but now at the end of the day, you still have a big move on an intraday basis, topped out way up here. So closed well off its highs. And probably will be, if it moves, will be a serial halter again tomorrow. But I am going to put it on a chart. All right. RSLS had a big gap up. Man, it's not an errant tick. It actually went all the way to 2063 before settling in at 1518. Got to watch that one. When they do that, you got to put them on a chart if you're a day trader. AM. I had them watch today because of this huge move. Then they came back down, and then on Friday put in a huge move again. And then today, kind of a quiet day. So I'm looking for a 3rd day play there. The big move, quiet day, and then a 3rd day play back up. Only with a proper setup, of course. I typed that wrong. CJJD This was a huge mover back here, came back down, found support, and is starting to curl back up and topped out at the half. So that could be interesting through 450 tomorrow if it meets our parameters. And then lastly, DADA had a nice volume day and a strong close, and maybe the whole number 9 comes back into play tomorrow. That's it for me. I think we're going to have a great year. I had a good day today, even though I only basically traded one symbol. A lot of choppiness out there. But let's just stay focused. We'll find plenty of trades this week and obviously all year. So I'm done babbling. We'll see everybody in the chat room in the morning.